Right, all out, let's go. But before this video starts, give the video a like, and remember this is literally every day, so set your timer on your phone to come back at 2 PM each day. And we're going to get into hitting some balls at home, and I want to see if I can hit that driver in the net. But firstly, I'm going to do an M&M quiz. Right, so we're going to play some old M&M tracks, like 3 in a row. Right, I'm going to play you the first like 2 seconds. List in the comments 1, 2, 3 what they are. Number 1.
A lot of people ask me.
So we're having number 2. Number 3. This is really easy. 3 tracks, 1, 2, 3. Get your answers in down below and you will win nothing. Right, we're at Lidl, by the way.
You've got no French and you've got no ground and you're a load of chicka 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 Slim Shady, hotter than a set of twin babies, and the Mercedes Benz when the windows up and the temp goes up to the mid 80s. Got a mid lady, so I dock but I've been creepy.
The title of this video would be something about hitting a driver out here into this like homemade net, which is a carpet on a washing line. If it goes through, it's also going straight through the fence for sure. The problem that I might have is not having enough room to actually swing the driver. That's why I've put this back like Wembley. Pretty much the same ideas they have at football grounds to keep the nets back. Keeping the washing line / golf net back as far as possible, which gives me room to swing driver from here whilst not hitting that. Other thing to think about is the height thing. So I shared this video on my Instagram the other day, and a guy hit a breeze block and he come back and smashed him in the ankle. With a thin driver, it hits that and it comes back, it's probably going to be travelling over 100 miles an hour, which could fracture my shin and ankle. Okay, we're gonna do it. Drive into the net, carpet, golf net thing. Still better than what you'd buy at Argos for 20 quid, right? You know? Yeah, I know, Harry. So set up as many cameras as possible, and I'm not gonna work my way into it. I'm just gonna try and hit one like 120 mile an hour. Covered speed, first ball, let's go. If I pin this will hurt a lot. Wait, what's that launching at? Oh, right, all out, let's go. Oh. Let's just get over to my evening pool session. It's getting quite late, but I had to watch the chase, so needs must and all. So we're going to get this pool session in today before we analyse more golf swings. Now this pool session, obviously I've not got any equipment, so I'm going to use a football post to do the pulling movements, then go straight back home to do the rest of it with a weighted hose. I wonder if we can find the actual weight of these things. So we've got 7 litres of water in kilos. Hoping it's not too light. Density of water is 1 kilogram per litre. So that's 7 kilos. So 7 kilos. Right, we're done for another training session. That one didn't really go to plan. Like, I got over the park, tried to do some pull-ups first set, because I'm having to pull from that underneath, and obviously you engage your core when you're doing pull-ups. The DOMs I've got in my core from doing, it's doing like the plyometric stuff yesterday, the box jumps and the sprints, because you're doing that movement, because you're jumping and getting your legs up explosively, and obviously when you're sprinting you're getting your legs up explosively. It's killed like my abs, so I could pretty much not do pull-ups. As it's gone so well, analysing golf swings, that's the next bit of the video. So my goal is to get another 10 golf swings done. The golf swings just keep being sent through, so I don't think I'm actually going to get through the list, so I'm just going to keep doing it like every day, do 10 golf swings. It'd be like a 10-minute part of the video. I think that kind of works. So, and then if we get onto the Golf Club 19, we'll start the career mode. And before we get into this, I just want to see, or just put the feelers out there for whether you guys would be interested in online golf tuition. During this time, during lockdown, and seeing as I've got quite a lot of time on my hands, and I know some of you are going to have quite a bit of time on your hands at the moment, and perhaps you can only practice outside doing drills and such. Just thought this would be a good opportunity to put the feelers out there. So if you're interested in hearing more about online golf tuition, send me an email with the subject online golf lesson. Now I think the way that I'm going to go about this is obviously getting sent a few of your swings with detailed explanation from yourself about what you suffer with on the golf course, and what your general faults are in your swing, or what the ball flight is generally doing, what you think it's doing. From there I can do a full analysis, not just like analysis on the software that I'm using. It's going to be a full analysis sent back via video, and then I'm also going to send you some recommended like stretches, mobility stuff to do as well. So I'm just going to continue where I left off yesterday. So Neil Brown was the last one today. Number 1 is Curran. I think that's Curran, C-I-A-R-A-N. I probably should know how to pronounce that name. Curran Higgins, or Kieran. Let's just go with that, yeah. Hello mate, I'm a mid-single figure golfer, hit a high draw but can overturn it. Drills, ideas for not dropping it under so much. Also struggle to get a full turn in, as bottom of my back isn't that flexible. So ideas or stretches that would be great. Okay, it's gonna be interesting. Alright, so let's have a look at this swing in normal motion first. I'll let you guys have a look. Okay, you can see the pronounced drop from the top as he gets it quite deep and very, very shallow. It's interesting you say you're not flexible, because what I'm noticing is there's like pretty much zero separation between your hips and your shoulders. So if you look at this, so from here, what we'd like to see is the hips starting to clear. But you just tend to drop the club down without much rotation at all, and the hips really haven't cleared at impact, or just shy of impact, and then you kind of just like chuck it a tiny bit. So from this part of the swing it looks good. You got a decent amount of rotation. Obviously this is just one angle that I'm going to look at it today, but this transition is the bit that kind of goes wrong. So you drop it really deep, your hips don't really turn, so I'll just work on your sequencing. So get to the top, get your sequencing right. Hips start to squat and rotate first. Feel like the club's being left behind a bit, but when I say left behind, I don't mean left behind as in dropping it behind you. I said just feel like the club just stays at the top while your hips make the move. Now you say you're inflexible, especially in the lower back, and that would suggest why you struggle to actually do that. You've got to remember the lower back mobility is very much controlled by glute and hamstring mobility, so it all kind of links together in a chain. So for you, it's probably going to be worth doing a lot of hamstring, glute and lower back mobility exercises and stretches. So it's just going to be a case of doing the boring stuff. All right, so stretch out your hamstrings regularly, stretch out your glutes, stretch out your lower back. We can all Google like specific exercises for that. All right, so that's where I'd say begin, and then work on your sequencing. Okay, Zach Hallstrom, who sent a 7-iron. I love talking trash. To be fair, I got quite a lot of comments from him. He's a sound guy. You're my favourite channel on YouTube. Keep up the good work. Yes, that's what we like to hear. It's a nice looking practice facility. Yeah, looks pretty good. I'm not going to get in depth with all these swings. Some of them just give them, you know, a bit of, that looks tidy, doesn't it? Looks kind of laid back as well. I mean, you do get it quite flat, but it looks like, you know, you kind of like that. And there's not a lot of manipulation going on really. It's just a very, like, what do they say? Oh, it's a 1-point swing. You know, you take it back on the shaft line, quite deep, but you don't get overplaying too much. That looks pretty much on plane. Obviously it's slight over the plane from the backswing, but to be honest, that's a great position there. And yeah, pretty tidy swing. I don't know what your handicap is, mate, but I'm guessing you're pretty decent. Tom Bailey, no info with this one. Right, here's another classic example of an annoying player to play against. I bet this guy doesn't do too much wrong looking at this golf swing. I mean, there's not many moving parts here, is there? This guy's got to be a fairly decent level. So I'll just show you the action. Ah, it looks tidy, mate, doesn't it? Really tidy. I think a lot of the comments in yesterday's video were saying it's actually worrying how many like solid actions there are, and you can see. I mean, look at that. Maybe you get like slightly flippy and humpy, but it's like minor, mate. Yeah, it looks good. Nice shot position going back, rotating through. What can you say? Very good move. Joshua Johnson. Gotta be an American with that name, surely. Right, so we've got another example of a guy that could potentially be a decent golfer, like he could get it around with this swing, and without you actually sending me some info about where your misses are or what errors there are, it's hard to say, you know, whether you would go about changing much of this. So he takes it inside a bit, gets the club face, gets the club head behind his hands, and from there the chain reaction is to then get it slightly over the plane. As you can see here in the transition, he just gets it that way and a bit steep, and then because it's steep, maybe a bit chucky. But we're talking, you know, fairly minor here. For you, I would say if you're going to change anything, I'll just keep it a bit more connected on the way back. Club face looking at the ball. So a simple feel for you, I feel like, would just be try and feel like you get the glove looking at the ball for as long as possible on the way back. And it's as simple as that. That might sort out some of the sequencing, because like a chain reaction, you take it back this way, and then from there, the only place for it to go is this way, which is a bit steep. But all in all, another pretty good action. Judging by your garden, you might not be American either. Dara O'Keefe, wonder where you're from. Let's have a look. No info on this one. Okay, not bad. Hanging back on your right foot. Let's see why. Yeah, just a bit deep. I'm just waiting for a golf swing to appear that looks like Eamon Darcy. But they're all like, not bad. I mean, what would you do with this? Not a lot. I mean, like, talk about one piece, that is very one piece and quite long and deep, so it might just be a bit loose, and it looks like you lose your angles on the way down, and you're a bit humpy, and it's quite upright, and then you're chucky. So maybe for you, trying to maintain the angles and feel like you're stretching your left arm away from your chest again, just to get in that more powerful position. Not like stretch it by like moving off of it, but rotate around, stretch your left arm away as far as you can, which might make it easier to then maintain the angles on the way down. And then the chair drill for you, it's got to be that all day. Just looks like you sling it, but you have a hard time, you would definitely have a hard time controlling that face consistently. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could, again, you'd be one of those guys that when the timing's on, you could get it round, but trying to control that, it looks like you hit high draw, it could be quite tough. Connor Stone, no subject again. Right around the golf course here. He's got the Harry Flower fade, number 1. I know the camera makes it a bit harsher on the fade lines, he's obviously just had his haircut there. Yeah, balance issues, as you can see, he's like rotating into his back foot. Looks like he's got some Astros on. Set up, let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, firstly, I would say, to use a Gankus reference, your balance points are just off right now, right? So this has helped me a lot as well, and it will probably help you. He likes to say, get your armpits over the balls of your feet. And this angle's not great, so it's actually helping you look more over the balls of your feet, but I can guarantee it isn't. And then you're standing quite a way away and your arms are out in front of you, so you've got this quite big gap here. When you start in that position, it's gonna always be hard to maintain balance throughout, because you're gonna have to, in order to actually get back to the ball, you're gonna have to probably hump it to try and keep balance whilst actually hitting the golf ball, okay? So if you like cleared really well, you would hit it so far out the toes, so your body's reaction, counter reaction to that is to try and get the club face out a bit further in front of you. So I'd say work on your posture firstly, and then you get it quite deep. To be fair, that's not a bad position. Your hips are not really moving at all, and from there it's steeping over the top. Yeah, so I'd say posture firstly, and I feel like that would change. That would actually sort out quite a lot of the issues here. And then you get it quite deep, and then you hump it, getting over the top. See, that's quite steep, and then you just hump it, rotate onto your right foot, and you lose balance. Hey, Daniel G, currently play off 6 handicap. Let me know what you think. Loving the videos at the moment, gives me something to watch in these boring times. Cool, so this guy's probably gonna swing it quite nicely. Let's have a look. Okay. I thought that was a slow-mo. This looks like a slow-mo on the way back, doesn't it? I mean, that's a good action in it. There's not a lot going wrong there. We are quite a way away. I mean, come on, what would you say about this? You'd like to, so this is the type of guys, 6 handicapper, obviously swings it tidy, probably hits it pretty well. So this would be one of the situations where you would need information from him. You'd need to know where his misses were, like what his patterns were, before you really said anything. Because it may be, I mean, it looks like you can get it round with this golf swing. You'd like to think, wouldn't you, that you could get it round with that golf swing. There's not much going wrong, might not be the longest hitter in the world. I'd like to know what his short game was like, and I'd also like to see this swing from the other side, because it looks like you're coming off of it quite a bit. But all in all, pretty tidy. Need more info. Okay, Andrew Mayer, would be really cool to use this. Love your content, watch your videos. You're a great golfer, so keep it up. Cheers, mate. Right, let's have a look. La, 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 la. Right, firstly, angles, mate. I'm not going to see anything from here. Unfortunately, you can't really see a lot. What you can see is a lot of humping. But a lot of juniors like this, so smallish guy, a lot of them need to use that power source when they're young to try and get some extra yards. And this looks like another example, but it looks like you might be just on the transitional period at your age where you're going to have to start swinging it properly and moving properly in order to gain consistency. So yeah, I would say go see a decent pro and get to work on the game, but I can't really see much from there. Okay, Samuel Turner, loving the content. All your vids are always good, blah blah blah, get me through quarantine, good. A lot of people say I need to lengthen my backswing. When I look at videos back, I agree with them, but my final product isn't that bad at the time. So it is the case of swinger and swing, or should I be trying to change it a bit? Would be classed under your thoughts. So it's gonna be interesting. So his mates are telling him that he needs to swing it longer. It's like a very nice golf course. He's just been for a fade as well. Look. Swing it longer. I mean, it's not the best angle to look at length of swing. Oh, hey, come on, that's good. Sounded like you just roasted that as well. I mean, how short is it? Let's have a look. By the way, tomorrow, guys, I'm going to be prepared and have a decent swing analysis program, so I can actually go over these, move the cursor, and not just be trying to pause. But doesn't look like much wrist set, but very hard to say. The club might just be a bit shallow. Club, a lot of closure. Look where the club face is. And as usual, as you see, hips are going to go up, and look, you can see the closure here as well. But I mean, again, one of these golf swings, you could get it round. It looks good from here. But for consistency, I'd like to see a much more stable club face. So I'd probably work on your posture, and from there, it would be about what your lower body's doing and what the club face is doing through the ball, just to keep improving. But a lot of good things in that swing, mate. A lot of good things. Okay, Glyn Tap. Great stuff on YouTube, loving the content. I've attached a swing of my t-shirt on the 18th at Carnoustie. Player. I've got myself in trouble off the tee a lot, a block right or sometimes a hook, so I tend to leave the driver in the bag and go with the trusty 5-wood. I swing the club fairly fast for a fat Clark for a fat Clark Kent. Drivers around 115 to 117. With how fast you swing the club, I was hoping you'd be perfect for a few tips to work on. So I guarantee we are going to see, before even looking at this, the pattern of a hump and a fast rate of closure. Fat Clark Kent. Mate, you got it spot on. Nah, I'm joking. To be fair, one of the hardest tee shots going, right? This is where Garcia nearly won. And he literally missed, I think it's like a 12-15 footer on the last. He hit like a perfect putt. It may be in regulation, or it may have, no, I think it was in regulation. He literally said he hit a perfect putt and it just didn't drop. Okay, let's have a look. I guarantee you're gonna see this action. Yep. What? Where's that going? Why is your mate laughing at you? Oh, he's topped it. So very shallow on the way back, getting it very deep. Posture though, address, kind of like that. You look like stable and stocky. Getting it deep, and then the hump and the flip. Exactly the same. I reckon a lot of this could be like mobility for you as well. A lot of bigger guys struggle with the mobility, so following a decent mobility routine is key, as well as getting in the gym and squatting. You need to move, and yeah, a lot of good things in the swing, but just watch what happens to the hips and watch what happens to the club. See, it's already shut in the face. It's just the hump and the flip. Right, last one, PP, no name. I've no garden as I live in a flat, so it had to be done indoors. Done at 2 AM, not as though I need to get up for anything. Typically carry my 5-iron 207 yards. Obviously quite a big hitter. So let's have a look. I think we got two golf swings here. Real golf swing. Jesus, man, you could seriously do some damage in there. Okay, let's have a look. So you hit it a long way. I don't know where your target is. You can't really tell a lot. Get the club very high and far behind you, and you lose quite a lot of connection, and then you chuck it big time. When I do these online golf lessons, obviously I'm gonna need straight down the line and straight front on, does that make sense? Golf swings on a fairly decent camera and decent lighting, and I'm also gonna need like the whole backstory so I can actually do it properly. But yeah, so it's like you lose a bit of angle, lose a bit of spine angle on the way up, and then you get in this position, so which is what you see. So if you lose your spine angle, your shoulder starts to like suffocate you at the top, and then you go hard at it with the lower body, but it's more of a lateral slide. So you're really like trying to get at it, and then you'll flip the hands and you just lose. So you probably hit it quite high, I would say. So a couple things, I would like to see you try to maintain your spine angle a bit more in the backswing. That's going to make you feel like your left shoulder is going under your chin instead of like hitting you in the chin, and less lateral motion as well. So you get off of it with your hips, and then your hips move a lot. So I'd like to see you move around your hips and not slide. Again, that could be mobility. Yeah, that's it for tonight. I think that's 10 golf swings. Actually liking this. I think I've had, like, I keep updating you on this, but I think it's like 300 golf swings now. But like I said, if you want a proper online golf lesson, then send an email with online golf lesson in the subject, and we'll get back to you. Okay, so this is my first tournament in the PGA Tour career mode. This is the Web Tour Q School. Got to the best start I think you can possibly manage over the first 3 holes here. So first hole driver, iron, putt, birdie, easy start. Fairway again, second hole, knocked it in there tight. Making light work of this after just playing a 9-hole practice round. Found a way to get my head around the putting on this as well. Third hole, driver, 3-wood into the par 5, just allowing for the contours here. As you can see, it's banking off the right. Knocked it in, and I leave myself an eagle putt, and I'm thinking, surely you can't start birdie, birdie, eagle in your first tournament at Web Tour Q School. But he can. Knocks it in, makes a string of pars, but has this 4-par. Slides it by, so loses 1. Now we get a bit further into the round, and you're about to see some highlights for the rest of the round. So easy birdie here, knocks it in tight. It's tight. Ooh, that was not an easy birdie. Slides by. Got ahead of myself there, but anyway, 3 under. Got to the 12th hole, 157 yards, TPC Scottsdale. Couldn't quite believe this happened. So in the air, the commentators called it. He said, looks a little long. And it would have been a little long. But it's a flag. Oh, almost slam dunks it. Leaves myself a slider. Knocked it by. Another birdie putt missed. Had a lot of birdie putts today. Anyway, got to the 15th at TPC Scottsdale. I'm sure you know this one. The stadium course. Easy par 5. Driver. Fairway. Left myself 174 yards, just adjusting the loft to give myself a bit more here. 181 yards in. Finally got the hang of it and learned how to use the game. Knocked it in there. Nice, just short. Jumps up on. And again, we got a putt for eagle. Very, very slippery and slidey. The pun in here is not easy at all. Just knocked it by. Knocked it in for birdie. This is the hole you want to see. This is the famous 16th. Without the stadium. Just doesn't look the same, does it? Anyway, knock it in, 2-foot putt. Simple, 18th hole. I'm already 7 under, and I'm leading by 7. Knock a driver in play. Left myself 104 yards, I think I said. And he knocks it tight. And then he knocks it in, 8 under. And I've got through. And I've won by 8. And he's got his card. First, so the next tournament you're going to see is my first event on the web.com tour. See you tomorrow, 2 p.m.